Good morning. My name is David Shane. I'm one of Aileen's brothers, Mark's brother-in-law, and funkle to Aidan, Devin, and Liam. Teammate and one of Mark's many, many close friends. Whether you happen to be joining us from Timmins, Ottawa, Vancouver, or any place across Canada or around the world, we welcome you and thank you for being here in spirit. Under the circumstances of COVID-19, all of the constraints, we find it difficult to appropriately honor the life of Marc Lalonde. We are connecting here this morning to celebrate and remember the life and legacy of Marc, Maurice, Danielle, Emmanuel Lalonde. I'm honored to pay tribute to his life, and I wish to thank those that contributed to the content of this eulogy. Marc was remarkable. A remarkable husband to Aileen, a remarkable husband to Aileen, a remarkable father to Aidan, Devin, and Liam, a remarkable brother to the Shanes, and to his sister Michelle, a remarkable son to Madeline, Maurice, and Marlene, a remarkable nephew, a remarkable cousin, a remarkable friend to countless others. Marc was also a remarkable coach, a remarkable mentor, and a remarkable business leader. Marc had a dramatic impact on so many. His passing has shocked all who knew him. Marc has left a void. More than an acquaintance, he was a true gentleman, a pure and genuine person. His enthusiasm to act was second to none, and the ability to influence others to join in, volunteer at events, help the community, or give blood. It didn't matter the cause. Marc was always gave his fullest. How he managed to give so much of himself will remain a mystery. Admired by all that were touched by his generosity, his role modeled just what a friend should be. Unconditional, unexpecting, and gave you more of himself and did not ask for anything in return. Marc never asked to be thanked. He would find time to check in, ask how you were doing, listen without judgment, and held you accountable and made you set goals. Marc had such a caring soul, it was easy to call him a friend. Honesty was what you got. Prepared or not, he always told you how it really was. Marc, I hope you have found the peace you longed for. I hope you are standing in the light, far from the darkness. I hope your mind is clear and free. And Marc, I hope you are loved. I hope you know you are loved, missed, and cherished. So Marc grew up in a small town in northern Ontario called Timmins. Now, many of you from BC may not know this, but Timmins is affectionately known as a city with a heart of gold. So it should come as no surprise that Marc was from there, since we all know there is not a more pure heart than Marc's. Marc and his sister Michelle had many great experiences growing up when they worked at the Victory Theatre, camping, swimming, dirt biking, or snowmobiling together and playing all sorts of sports. They were always at the rink, whether Marc was playing with their dad or coaching or playing, or Michelle was figure skating. They built snow forts and spent hours outside in the freezing northern Ontario weather. Over the years, they always made sure to connect and with each other to share their different successes and challenges. Marc always was Michelle's biggest fan and cheering squad, and also the person to keep her on the right path. Marc was recently reaching out to his nephew Kevin, Michelle's son, and was trying to help him be the best Kevin he could be. Michelle was also grateful for that. Even though Marc was loved and admired by many people, she can also remember the Marc who loved to tease and have fun and had no problem having enthusiastic debates. Marc is one of the reasons that Michelle does what she does today, advocating for vulnerable people with challenges. As a child and teen, Marc was the envy of those around him, athletic, popular, good-looking, and a surprise for many of you, for his flowing locks of hair. He was the kind of guy you wanted to feel jealous of. The problem was, He was just so damn likable. Whether it was his prowess as a goalie, playing hockey, his basketball skills, or his barefoot skiing abilities, many wanted to like Marc, or at least be his friend. Friends, as the last 10 days have confirmed, was one of the things that defined Marc. His ability to make friends, have deep, meaningful relationships, goes back to his childhood. Whether he was making you laugh by claiming this was the year that his beloved Maple Leafs were going to win the cup, whether he was checking in to see how you were doing, or whether he was offering advice to his sister Michelle or to his cousin Sean, Marc embodied what it meant to be a friend and a leader. After leaving Timmins to go to Carleton University, here Marc had the chance to strengthen his relationship with his Aunt Celine and Uncle Jimmy. Marc was the first one of his family to go to university, a proud moment for the entire family. Marc, as everyone knows, is very resilient. Whether it was the time Celine remembers when Marc was a very young boy, broke his arm, he bounced back, and with the cast, he made a game out of it. How many people signed my cast today? Always a trooper. Celine and Jimmy not only provided Marc with tremendous amount of support through his initial diagnosis with mental illness, but they also loved Marc and showed unconditionally love and how to be there for others in their time of need. It's these formative years in Ottawa, his upbringing in Timmins, that provided Marc with the confidence, sense of adventure, immense resilience to prove that despite the struggles he had overcome, he could leave a mark on this world. And with its journey to BC, Marc had his greatest impact would be felt. His life with Aileen and the family they created. Marc had to work hard to court Aileen. He often told the story of how challenging it was to even get a date with her. Aileen's tight-knit group of friends, called the Gab, meaning the girls and Brent, all from Marion High School in New Westminster, was a tough team to make. But Marc was at his best and tried to make a good impression and prove himself worthy of Aileen's affection. To start, his name was Marc, which was a good thing because 3 of the Gab group married someone named Marc. And being a practicing Catholic helped a lot too. My mother will always be eternally grateful for Marc leading Aileen back to the Catholic Church. Marc tried to please everybody and was so passionate to make Aileen happy. Marc was so genuine and honorable that he made some suspicious. Nobody's that good. What's he hiding? But eventually, he proved he was worthy and solid, and based on his demonstrated love for Aileen, they did accept Marc into their world. Growing up with 4 older brothers, was pretty tough on Aileen and her would-be suitors, but that would pale into comparison to the poor guy that would ask for her hand in marriage. Enter Marc Lalonde. The Spanish Inquisition was nothing like what we put Marc through, so it became obvious that Aileen and Marc were made for each other. In the end, the boys were thrilled with Marc mainly because he made Aileen so happy. It was a coin toss who was more lucky, Aileen or Marc. The boys were happy for Aileen, but truth be told, our sisters-in-law secretly, or maybe not so secretly, would have traded any one of us for Marc because he was the perfect husband. That's code for Mr. Fix-It. Months prior to asking Aileen to marry him, while my dad was sick with terminal cancer and with just weeks to live, Marc asked for my dad's permission to marry Aileen. Marc loved Aileen, forever and always. And we loved that about Marc, especially his annual Christmas letter to Aileen that always brought her joy. Marc was a remarkable father to his 3 remarkable children and had great pride for all of them. Pride in Aidan, the man he has become, the great group of friends, his volunteerism, and a lacrosse scholarship and going to university. Pride in Devon, the awesome woman she's become, her academic achievements, her strength of character, and her great circle of friends. And pride in Liam, the man he is becoming, his volunteerism, his intellect, his toughness, and the hair your daddy wished you had. In 2013, Terry and Marcy thought it was a good idea to move back to the coast, more specifically Coquitlam. They lived a legitimate 90-second drive from the Lalonde home, which became Lucas's second home. But they were blown away with how Marc received them. He had such a proud uncle for Lucas to play hockey and lacrosse for the Coquitlam Adelaide. He was such a proud uncle for Lucas to play lacrosse for the Coquitlam Adelaide. Without Marc's encouragement and support, the fact is Lucas would not be the person he is today. He would not have played at a high level in Coquitlam Adelaide box lacrosse organization, joined field lacrosse, winning championships, and then receiving a scholarship to play collegiate lacrosse in the NCAA in North Carolina, USA. Marc's love of family touched each of us in a very special way, and we are better off for having known Marc and having him in our lives. As some of you know, Marc's hockey career started as a goalie. In fact, he continued to chirp like one until his final days. But he joined the Shane clan. The days of getting pucks shot at you were over. Like everything he did it with passion. He improved his skating, learned how to play forward, and worked hard at it. I never heard anyone say Marc mailed it in. He always gave 100%. Fast forward to 10 years later, and he joined the 7-Eleven Bears hockey team and was a welcome addition with Terry, David, and Michael. Marc was great in the dressing room, loved by all the guys, great on the ice, and a very unselfish player. And he was always up for a road trip. Last year we did do a road trip to Palm Springs, and we had such a great time reminiscing about the good old days. Basically, the moral of the story was, the older we get, the better we were. Every player on the 7-Elevens will miss Marc's youthful enthusiasm and compete level. And I have to add that I recently posted on Facebook that 15 for 15, our first game without Marc, which had so many views. No one asked us why we were called the 7-Elevens, and it's because we're always open. This past August, out of pure love of family, Marc organized the first annual Dads and Lads golf tournament at Northlands Golf Club in North Vancouver. The field was made up of Team Lalonde, the Burnaby, the New West, the North Vancouver Shanes, and of course, and on-course marshals, Liam and myself, due to a broken ankle. No prizes were awarded, and there wasn't very much on the line except for bragging rights. If you know our clan, bragging rights are everything. The day was memorable for its spirit of competition, but more importantly, the love and camaraderie of family. And as so often the case in this family, the event allowed the fathers and the sons to get together and celebrate us, pure and simple. Then with the rest of our families, as had become customary, we gathered back at Uncle Michael and Auntie Dell's for a swim and a barbecue. I'm so glad that next year's Dads and Lads event, I'm so sad that next year's Dads and Lads event will be without its founder. We hope his spirit will endure, our brother, uncle, father, but hopefully we will be able to soldier on. And the last time we were all together was last Christmas in Mexico. And for us, it was the time of our lives. Always a competitor, Marc participated with his nieces and nephews and Uncle Michael in the Tough Mudder at Whistler. Marc had purchased new compression socks for the event, thinking it would give him an advantage. It didn't. And by the three-quarter mark, Marc's toes were all twisted up and he could hardly walk. Through sheer determination and will, he did finish, but it left him in pain for 3 weeks following the Tough Mudder. He always gave 110%. Marc was a remarkable sports coach, and that bar was set very high by my father and my brothers. I constantly witness his greatness in hockey coaching for girls and boys. Marc used to say, "Give me some clay and I can create something beautiful." Now, without sounding like Howie Meeker, I watched his team of crunch kids, barely 8 years old, cycle the puck in the offensive zone, hit the net, back check hard, get it out, dump it in, and change as a unit. Beauty on ice. It was so special. So to all of you Coquitlam Chiefs, you Tri-City Predators, you Coquitlam Crunchers, you Coquitlam Adanacs, please, for the love of the game, share what you have learned and the lessons from Uncle Marc, or Coach Marc. Marc's business career was also remarkable from the Money Mart to the credit unions and CRI Insurance to Dominion Lending to DLC Origin. Success after success. Marc's resiliency, enthusiasm earned him high praise and increasing responsibility. Marc was indeed charitable with his time. Marc was an inspiration in everything he did. His impact on his nieces and nephews will be a treasure that each will hold dear for the rest of their lives. His interaction at family events with each one of them was awe-inspiring. He brought this genuine feeling and dedication to help, improve, and drive them. The message clear, they could do anything. His positive, life-altering impact on the community makes one speechless. Whether it was giving blood, Operation Red Nose, or at the church and schools, he was the first to step up and say, "Let's get it done. Let's do this." We all knew that the lead had been taken and Marc was our guy. From one of my brothers reflected on how he truly enjoyed his early morning talks with Marc, his enthusiasm with business, his family vacation, his relationships with everyone. As you may gather, that enthusiasm is contagious. So much so that when Marc wanted to explore some more unique experiences in snorkeling, he encouraged and convinced several of his nieces and nephews to go with him. In their words, it was the best experience ever. Thank you, Marc. I would further add that Marc's relationship with the Outlaws, Sandy, Marcy, and Adele, was second to none, mostly due to the fact that Marc was always helping with dinner or with cleaning up after, not what the shame wives were accustomed to. Now, as we all struggle to understand how we can be here today under these circumstances, to quote Peter Malark, our lives are not measured in years, but are measured in the lives of people we touched around us. By this standard, Marc would be among the oldest people who has ever lived. He would want us to carry forward his legacy by making an effort to have an impact on those around us. When we are all here today, leave here today, let us honor Marc by being the person we can to ourselves, to our family, and to our community. And the next time you volunteer to help out with a sports team, or offer up some of your free time to someone else, or to reach out to someone you know is struggling, think to yourself, I'm leaving a mark on this world. And that way we continue to honor his legacy, remembering the amazing person he was and the impact he had on us. Our family has often been called close, tight, strong, and I agree. But because of this tragedy, it's time to prove it by being there for Aiden, Devin, and Liam. It's time to walk the walk and demonstrate how powerful we can be together. We're going to take action and make a difference and honor Marc's memory by creating and overseeing the Marc Lalonde Memorial Foundation in the spirit of contribution and influence he had on the lives around him. If you've not already done so, we encourage you to make a donation to help us make a difference in the community by honoring Marc's legacy for helping risk at youth and the challenges around mental health. We started the Marc Lalonde Memorial Foundation to raise awareness and shine a light on mental illness. We thought we would raise $10,000, and as of this morning, we've raised $120,000. Talk about leaving a legacy. We're inspired to speak out about Marc's mental illness by Aidan, Devin, and Liam. They were the real catalyst for shining the light. Marc's spirit lives through them as it will through you. I would like to challenge each and every one of you joining us today to make a difference in someone's life. Make that phone call, send that text, check in, check up, reach out, and act just like Marc would. As some of you know, I'm all about help now. And I want to finish with the words that opened the World Health Organization back in 1948 by Canadian doctor Brock Chisholm, the first director of the WHO. There can be no real health without mental health. We thank you, Marc, for being part of our lives, for being an outstanding example, and for teaching us the lessons that will be taught for generations to come. We love you.